A new movie is on the way. We knew it was coming to Disney Plus, but now we're finding out it's headed to theaters as well. It is by John Williams, and well, that's the name of the movie. John Williams is the subject of a documentary. He's the famous composer, perhaps the best of the past century, and he's been doing all kinds of music for movies like Harry Potter, Star Wars, and far more. But now, Kathleen Kennedy may be looking for a win, and this could be the last film where she gets a chance. Hello folks, welcome back to the Pro Channel, where we are connecting dots that otherwise would never come to meet. We put them together and they shall not be in twain evermore. Folks, today we only ask that you click the like button as we get ready to dive into today's content, and we are examining the fact that Kathleen Kennedy has a movie coming out. And she wasn't going to get a movie coming out, but now she has a movie coming out. Sure, it's a documentary, but it's a movie, all right. And we've been hearing from people like Chris Gore at Film Threat that Kathleen would like to go out on a win. There is no win on the way. Oh, but wait a minute. What about this? What about a new limited theatrical release? I smell something in the works at Lucasfilm and maybe at Disney. We'll tell you about it. Panel, it's time. All right, this is out of thatparkplace.com. If you're not yet bookmarked to it, well, you should be. Disney documentary Music by John Williams could be Kathleen Kennedy's final box office film. And this article, although it's by me, is heavily edited by John Trent, and gladly so. He is undoubtedly the most prolific and storied movie composer of the last half century. Now, John Williams is receiving the theatrical and streaming ovation he so richly deserves. The Walt Disney Company is offering a chance to enjoy a look back at the master of soundtracks, the triumphant genius behind so much of what we hear when we think of the characters we love. According to a press release from the Walt Disney Company, the documentary is a shared production between Lucasfilm, Amblin, and Imagine Documentaries, and will offer a fascinating and insightful look at the prolific life and career of composer and Disney legend John Williams. It specifically reveals that the film will receive a limited theatrical release in New York, Los Angeles, and London on November 1st, as well as premiering on Disney's streaming service, Disney Plus. Now that is very, very interesting to have a limited theatrical release on the same day that it hits streaming. And that's very interesting too, because I was not aware that this was going to get a theatrical release. Now, to show you this is out of Disney Plus News, but Disney Plus News says that Elton John, Never Too Late, is also going to get a theatrical release. But as you can see in this, it's not going to be at the same time as the streaming. So Elton John, Never Too Late will come out on streaming on December 13th. Let's scroll down, and I think we can find this in here. Theatrical, November 15th. So November 15th is when it will get its theatrical run, very limited, but a theatrical run November 15th. It waits until December 13th to go to Disney Plus. That is not the case here. And guys, I think what has happened is that Disney has decided to make this not be a Disney Plus exclusive, but to put it out limited. And I would say that it's interesting to me that this is a joint venture between essentially Lucasfilm and Amblin, which means that it's a joint venture between Kathleen Kennedy and her wife. Now, what this also means is that if
Kathleen
it is
Kennedy
true,
and her wife?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Kathleen Kennedy and her husband. Sorry, Mr. Marshall.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, it's 2024. Come on, get with it.
Well,
But,
An Anita Sarkeesian level love relationship right there.
So let me recompose myself, which, yes, that's a pun intended. This would be, so Kathleen Kennedy doesn't have another film, as far as we know, coming out from Lucasfilm until 2026. It's a long time. She'll be 73 when The Mandalorian and Grogu comes out. She might still be there. But there's a solid chance, even if she gets a contract extension this year, that she's not. And that means this could genuinely be the last box office run she has, at least at Lucasfilm. And not only that, gentlemen, but I suspect that this was moved from being a Disney Plus exclusive to it being a limited theatrical run to give Kathleen a chance at some significant awards and award shows. So, guys, we'll start with Lorne, because I know he's a little bit limited. Lorne, your thoughts on this latest development out of Lucasfilm?
I guess I don't have any really solid thoughts. I think you're probably right that this is intended to be award bait because it's certainly not going to drive the box office because it's a limited release. I think people will be interested in going to see it and justifiably should be. John Williams is going to be an amazing subject, and I think that it's great that they've finally put together some kind of a documentary on his contributions to Hollywood. But I guess that's my only real thoughts on it. I don't think this is. I saw some people in the comments saying that this is intended to be her big win that she can go off on. I don't think that's the intention because as a box office draw, because it's a limited release, it won't pull in giant numbers, especially if it's releasing on streaming at the same time. But if you're looking for some award bait, then that may make some sense.
And I will. Go ahead.
What if that big win is the awards, though? Because Disney is really trying to praise Dana Walden a lot with all the Emmy Awards and things like that don't make them any money. In fact, they cost them a lot of money. And I don't know. I end up wishing that Lou was here so we could talk about the process of getting a major award in Hollywood. It's
all
done.
Right, fine. We'll call Lou.
By campaigning and basically bribing these people into giving you an award. Now they still have the vote when it comes down to it, but I wonder if this is going to be a very expensive campaign on the level that a certain disgraced producer that no longer belongs in Hollywood would have done in order to get this woman her big moment on stage so that they can say, thank you, Kathleen. Kindly leave.
But ultimately, it's a documentary. You know, it's not like it's going to compete in multiple categories. I could see it winning 1 or 2 awards, but I can't see it like cleaning house. That I think would be
that
a tough
lowers
sell.
the stakes, though. If you're campaigning in an under-campaigned category to say, please, I'm begging you, look at that Frank Marshall over there. You see how miserable he is.
This has to win.
You see how often she comes home and talks about the Star Wars fans. Look at how miserable Frank is right now. He's pulling. He had hair when this started.
The thing is, do you remember when they had the big Indiana Jones thing on the stage and they had all those
it was
people
awkward.
There? They said there's one person that we have to talk about that is really the soul of this entire franchise, and it's John Williams. And you could see the look on Kathleen's face.
Yeah,
Frank comforting her.
You watched her soul drain from her body at that moment. You were like, oh, yeah, it wasn't you.
Well, let me show you guys this, and that was interesting because those things are almost always completely scripted, top to bottom. So, Marvin, let me get your thoughts on this. As soon as I say, here are the interviews that are going to be part of the documentary. I think you'll find some of them fascinating. We've got Steven Spielberg, Brian Grazer, Ron Howard, Daryl Frank, Justin Falvey, Sarah Bernstein, Justin Wilkes, Meredith Kalfers, Kathleen Kennedy, Frank Marshall, Laurent Bazereau, and Marcus Keith with Michael Rosenberg. They're the executive producers there. But these are going to be some of the individuals who actually show up in it. But look at the production on this. You've got these people showing up in that, but you've also got all of these producers listed. These are some big names that are in that list of producers, and it only adds to the feeling that this really is significant award bait. Like, these are the kinds of names that you put them on there in the producer list, and you just automatically get a trophy.
How many of those people that are going to be in this documentary are also in the Academy? On the award selection for this.
Let's go to Marvin, though. We've not heard from Marvin. I know he's tried to get in several times.
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting all over the place on this one.
Cut him out.
I'm seeing deception, and it's gotten me curious.
What's got into you, Jonas? I don't know. What this whole show? What's been going on?
I am honestly outraged. I'm completely outraged. I cannot believe that they are casting a straight white man as the main character of this movie. Isn't it time we had a reimagining of John Williams for a modern audience?
All right, you've heard it here, folks. Marvin is campaigning for Zegler to play John Williams in the Music by John Williams documentary.
I would like to say that Laurent Bazereau is a great documentarian. He has what I consider to be the best encapsulation of every version of the Star Wars scripts. That was Star Wars, the annotated screenplays.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're into that kind of stuff, get that book.
I tend to skip these Disney documentaries because I know it's going to have such a rose-colored view of history. Like, I didn't even watch the Henson one, and everyone keeps telling me that I should, the one Ron Howard directed. So I don't know. I feel like I can't get excited for something like this, even though it's somebody that I truly admire, because right there,
But look,
that's gonna be all over it.
Marvin, she's getting her moment now. Look at her. Look at the lighting on her. Isn't she lovely?
No.
That's a winning look right there.
No.
You guys remember in The
No.
Mandalorian that when it was really popular, those first 2 seasons, and they would do those how it was made segments with Favreau sitting around at a table, or round chairs,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
Kathleen would just sit there and blink, and you could tell she's like, Favreau's the boss here. Just what do you got, Kathy? You want to say something? Go ahead, get it out. All right, we're moving on. That's how those felt. Maybe that's what we get here too. I don't know. I just randomly clicked, and here it happened to be. It's Kathy. It's Kathy.
I'm going to say that her plastic surgeon is really good.
How dare you? How dare you question
That
When
was
you
her,
pulled this up, Pro, I was thinking to
dermatological
myself,
vitality?
like, there's no way you hit play on this thing right here, considering all of the music that has to be in this trailer.
No. Listen, they don't call me Pro for nothing. I know how to get around these things. And yet again, folks, we have come to the end. But what a video it has been, and we hope you agree. Folks, if you had a good time with us, consider clicking that like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell, and drop a comment right on down below. We care about your thoughts. Folks, we also want to invite you to partake in thatparkplace.com. Of course, www. You get the idea. Thatparkplace.com. It is the website telling the truth, and it is a rising star across the web for pop culture news coverage and analysis. Go over there and bookmark it today. Folks, we're bookmarking you as a great guest that we appreciate. Until the next time we have the honor of spending time with you, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, folks, you better believe it, keep having fun.